God, this thing is fast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, CaptainShack here. Welcome back to Mod Library, Space Engineer style. We're going to be looking at one mod today. One mod that I think is freaking awesome. Torpedoes away. Oh, God. Oh, going so fast. We're going to be attacking these blockade runners from Star Wars. This is all perfect Blinky builds, by the way. Minor modifications to the TIE Fighter. I threw a couple of rocket pods on here so we could do this. But we've got two blockade runners, a bunch of X-Wings and Y-Wings and B-Wings and A-Wings in the middle. This was actually going to be a battle map that I made during a stream with all his builds. There was a ISD out there, Imperial Star Destroyer that we're going to be fighting against. But today I was messing around on this map and I was like, you know what would be really cool for this battle map? Well, if I could actually blow up these ships properly. In normal Space Engineers, when you shoot a ship, you'll fire off your rockets. Man, that sounds good. They've redone the explosion sound effects with this nice ripple kind of echoey effect. I don't know if YouTube really sells it, but it sounds really good. Anyways, when you fire at stuff, I could sit here and fire, and it will do damage to the hull, but I'll never hit a critical system and actually blow the ship up, right? You'll never, like, hit the reactor, and the reactor will detonate and take out half the vessel. And there never really is that satisfying explosion or those subsystems that you want to really target so you can absolutely annihilate your target. Sure, you might want to target, like, the large reactors to shut it down, but those reactors won't go critical and explode. Well, now we've got the Jump Drive Critical Explosion mod, which does exactly what you think. As long as the jump drive has 1 megawatt of power charged up in it, right? And that's a fairly, high charged up engine. If you get it to critical levels, it will detonate, and that's what we're gonna test here. So I believe there's been enough time. We can go ahead and detonate these, but since I'm an Imperial bastard, let's blow up an A-Wing while I'm sitting here. Oh, poor A-Wing. Anyhow, so and I'll show you guys, let me go into spectator mode. I'll show you where the jump drives are in this. So if you're ever fighting a rebel blockade runner that's running off someplace with diplomatic intentions, or so they say, but that's bullshit, you're gonna wanna target right behind, if you're fighting against Blinkies, right behind the engine compartment here. There's some armor plating. Right behind that armor plating is actually where the jump drive is located. And horribly or amazingly, if you're Imperial or not, there are 5 of these things back here. So she's sitting on at least 5 giant bombs that are fully charged right now. Now she could try to jump out and she'd have to count down to make the jump, but let's see if we can stop her and how quickly we can stop her. So I'm shooting dual rockets. Now you wouldn't be able to sit here and do this, of course. Have we gotten through to the engine yet? Because their turrets would be ripping you apart. But there she goes. Oh, it sucks it in, and then boom. And it actually, oh man, it throws bits and pieces everywhere. It impacts, it gives like momentum to the parts, the larger parts, and throws them off. It's a really cool effect. Now imagine this, and I had meant to do like a battle video with this when I wanted to spotlight it, but sadly everybody's working right now. I didn't have time to get everybody together, but just look at this. Pieces everywhere, like how epic is that? This thing is still powered. It must have another power system somewhere in it. That's gonna float off without any engines. It's done. Let me make the run again. Switch to first person, a little easier to aim. We're beginning our attack run. Oh, come on, that was a dead-on hit. Now remember, it's gotta go down to critical levels, so it should take a few shots from the TIE Fighter. No TIE Fighter should be able to just take this out. And if we're gonna do a battle, we're probably gonna want, there she goes. Oh, the whole section is just gone. Now I will warn, in the like making this video, that explosion was hella loud. It was incredibly loud, to the point where I worry for my headphones. But if you're gonna play this, make sure you turn it down. If you're about to take out a ship, it is ridiculously loud. I hope he brings it down a bit, makes it a little more, keeps the bassiness, but maybe not those highs are, they're stabbingly loud. I'm gonna turn it way down when I edit this so you guys don't lose your headphones. But look at the wreckage field, and having to come in here and like maybe salvage a wreck, that would be really cool. And everything has a little bit of momentum, so it's all gonna keep spreading out and you're gonna get this debris field effect, which you don't normally get when you're fighting stuff. Sure, you'll get the husk of an enemy ship, but you never get a true debris field until now. How cool is that? Oh, that'll buff right out, it's fine. All right, so let's begin our attack. Dun, 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 dun. Now, originally, when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just spotlight the mod, and we'll do a run through of it. We'll do a few passes. I was gonna take a couple of X-wings, which we can actually swap out and fly one of the X-wings, which I think that's what we'll do to take this out. We'll swap out and do an X-wing. I was going to attack an ISD, and then I was worried, well, you know what? The ISD is huge. It brings the FPS already down to about half because of the size of the damn thing. Wow, look at the wreckage. It's actually running really well right now. I'm getting 60 FPS, no problem. I was going to swap out to one of... actually, let's go into the Y-wing. It's going to be harder to hit, but we'll try it. But I was going to do that. I was going to attack this ISD. I was going to detonate it and hopefully blow this entire gigantic ship up. Well, interesting fact with this explosion is the radius isn't that big. And yes, it did a significant amount of damage to the ISD. It didn't give me that like brutal ripping the ship apart effect that I was hoping for. So that's why I decided to go ahead and take out some of these blockade runners. But I have to say, it doesn't... okay, it does affect your FPS. You are going to get some serious slowdown right before the explosion, especially if it's multiples. Like you saw the one a second ago, it detonated, what, 4 of these at one time? Wow, this thing is so slow. Weapons and tools, rocket launchers, machine guns. Neutral dampeners are on, and I'm still floating upwards. This might not work. This might not be maneuverable enough. Beginning the bombing run. Okay, I think we've missed it. Or we hit it a few times. I just love the cockpit on this. The Y-wing is one of my favorite ships. Beginning our attack run. The Y-wing for Perfect Blinky actually aims straight down, which is interesting to aim. That's the term we're gonna use, interesting. But with that new echo audio effect, oh, it's so good. And the devs say that they're actually redoing most of the audio in the game to kind of get it to this level. And I really do hope that's true because it's fantastic to get that like echo, especially on a planet when you hear somebody bombing something at a distance and you hear that like distant echo of explosions. Very cool, very cool. All right, beginning the attack run. All we have to do is get lucky a few times. Okay, we're gonna have to get lucky a lot of times because this thing is hella inaccurate. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna bail. Let's jump into... we'll go back into the TIE Fighter. Because the X-Wings actually don't have any rocket launchers. For some reason, I don't think he put rockets on this. These were really hard for me to fly before. What was it, last week's patch? Yeah, see, there's no rocket launcher. We're gonna add one. But now, you can lock rotors into position. And not just by going max speed, but by actually going into the G menu, grabbing your rotors, and then you can scroll down to safety lock override. So we'll open up the wings. Lock S-folds at attack position, and then we'll hit 3, which will lock those rotors into place, and now they'll act as solidly attached bits. And let's go ahead and grab up our weapon and open fire. Let's center the camera so you guys can get a real good look. Where's our X-Wing? Our X-Wing is the only one in attack formation. There we go. You guys can see the explosion. Oh, I'm looking at it upside down. But this explosion is kick-ass. Rockets. There we go. Open fire. Imagine a couple of fighters, you and your buddies, like flying around and attacking the subsystems, trying to find the hyperspace drive to detonate the damn thing before he can get away. Like, that's gonna be fun. And that's what I wanted to do, and hopefully we'll still have the opportunity to do it. There she goes. And detonate. And all the parts come just pouring out. Very cool, very cool. Sometimes it doesn't play the explosion sound. I didn't mute that one, it just didn't play, interestingly enough. Let's fly through it. See if there's another one we can attack. The wreckage of this ship. Or what happens if we're too close to it when it detonates? Like, let's get close. Will it damage blocks that it isn't a part of? Out of my way. It's gonna go critical. Any minute now. I should probably set up the camera so we can see it. External camera. As the wreckage floats away. So good. Seriously? Are we not hitting it? It's got to have gone critical by now. Nope, it's not. Did we just break off the... I think we did. I think we just broke the rocket off. Yeah, we did damage in a splash. All right, well, we'll just use the machine gun. Oh! Oh! My X-Wing! And there goes half the X-Wing. All right, guys. Keep an eye out for the battle video I want to do with this. I think it's going to be really cool. We'll probably get a few people together flying TIE fighters. I might put a call out to the patrons and be like, hey, we're going to do a battle video. If you've got Space Engineers and a good internet connection, and that's key, you got to have a good internet connection. We'll set up a time, see how many people we can get into a match. And if we can have just like an epic fight of, I don't know, 8 or so TIE fighters versus one of these cruisers, and we'll mix in, you know, a couple of A-wings and maybe some Y-wings or something. That could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. That'll be a ton of fun, because then we can try to sub-target these. I can throw on the shield mod if the crashing issues have been fixed, and we can go crazy with it. Look at the wreckage. Oh, man. Because it says in the description that multiplayer does work for this, which is pretty legit. It's been a good week for Space Engineer mods. Not only do we get this, but we also got Easy Inventory, which is a mod that I want to spotlight, and I may do its own video for. It's super simple, but it makes building in survival crazy easy. It literally lets you walk up to a cargo container and be like, oh, you know, I'm trying to build, his example was the antenna, right? So I'm trying to build this antenna. So you walk up to a cargo container with the antenna blueprint out. You go up to your cargo container with all your supplies, right-click it, and it will pull out all the stuff you need to build that antenna. And if you can't hold everything, it'll max out your inventory. Then you go and you build what you can. Then go back, right-click it again, and it'll give you all the stuff you need again. So you don't have to sit there and try to remember what you needed to build that antenna or that spotlight or whatever it is you're going after. Oh, this is so cool. Now I'm curious if this works on mini jump drives from other mods, where they've shrunk the jump drive down to fit on, say, an X-Wing, right? I don't know. Probably not. I would think it wouldn't, but we'd have to experiment with it and see. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more gaming modding goodness, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and keep an eye out for that next Space Engineers Spotlight. Oh, and I plan on doing a behind-the-scenes video for the last Space Engineers episode, which was the prequel episode that we did. I want to do a behind the scenes on that one so I can put out all the builds that you guys saw, like the transports and stuff, up on the workshop, because a lot of you guys have been requesting that. So expect to see that soon. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video, where we're probably going to blow a bunch of stuff up, because look at the field, and it's continuing to expand. Later, guys.